Our 2025 Armed Forces Remembrance Day commemorations receive mixed reactions from Nigerians. Bellere Market reopens with a facelift 4 years after destruction. Traders express excitement. Military prohibits drone operations in the northeast zone amid security concerns. On the foreign scene, Israel and Hamas agreed to cease fire after 15 months of conflict. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I'm Muhammad Kuda Abubakar. Vice President Kashim Shettima represented President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday at the wreath-laying ceremony at the National Arcade, Abuja, to commemorate the 2025 Armed Forces Remembrance Day. All principal officers of the three arms of government were present to lay the wreath in honor of the fallen heroes and those members of the armed forces that are still engaged in conflict around the world. Kende Amodu has details.
All traditions to mark this year's celebrations are performed with military precision and solemnity, starting with the arrival of the Vice President and the national salute. Beyond the ceremony, and as it is every year, attention turns to widows and dependents left behind by fallen heroes. Nevertheless, government is pledging to do right by military pensioners and families of those left behind by fallen heroes. This military ritual is the culmination of activities to appreciate the armed forces and the sacrifices they keep on making to keep the nation safe. Armed Forces Remembrance Day is an annual wake-up call to all Nigerians that some people are making sacrifices at the theater of war daily to ensure their safety. Some have paid the supreme sacrifice, and their dependents are left behind, and so honoring them should not be limited to just the 15th of January. From the National Arcade, Abuja, Kende Amodu, Trust TV News.
As Nigeria observed the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, the widows of fallen heroes say it is not a day of celebration for them, but a time to reflect on the hardships they face after losing their loved ones in service to the nation. In Kaduna, some widows describe how the tough economic realities of the country have deepened their struggles, making it nearly impossible to provide for their children. Trust TV's Bella Musa visited the homes of some of these widows in Hayin Damani, Igabi local government area of Kaduna State, and filed this report.
Hajara Haruna lost her husband, Lance Corporal Haruna Muhammad, in 2016, while he was serving in the Nigerian army. Since his death, life has been a continuous battle for her and her children.
If my husband will be given opportunity to turn back and see me and my children struggling after the nation he has sighed and laid down his life for it. And today this family end up with nothing, still struggling. I don't think that this work worth dying for. I don't think the fallen heroes need to be celebrated, while their families that are left behind are in pains up till now.
Hajara now sells her personal properties to raise money for her children's school fees.
My son is writing SSCE this year. I can't afford even the money, and they are about closing the registration. The only thing I am having in my house is my set of chairs. So the option I have now, I'm selling out the chairs to raise the money for my son's SSCE.
Mariam Jamil shares a similar story. Her husband, Corporal Muhammad Jamil, died while serving in the Nigerian army, leaving her with 4 children to care for.
The one they gave us the benefit, it was shared with his family. So the one they give us as sponsor, it cannot take care of their own school fees. Talk less of for we to feed ourselves. Now, as I'm talking to you, I'm in my parents' house because I can't even take care of myself. So I went and rent a room. I see that I can't even cope. I can't continue to feed myself, feed my children, my 4 children. So I have to go back to my parents' house for them to be feeding me.
Years after their husbands' deaths, the widows remain deeply traumatized. Each memory of their final moment with their spouses is a painful reminder of the sacrifices their families have made.
How will I go to bed and carry the corpse of my husband lying down on the bed with the same people he's working for? That was how. Luckily enough, an officer was there. He asked some men to help me. That was when he said, no, we're not taking him to mortuary. I have to bring my husband that night to the mosque in NDA to come and keep him there. Till the following day, he was buried. Is it a crime he would keep his corpse for me till when I'm ready to carry his corpse? At least he deserved that respect because he died working for the Nigerian army.
I feel so bitter. I feel sad. Something I feel like dying too. Honestly, it's not an easy journey. It's not easy at all for a woman to lose her husband.
Hajara is now struggling to find a new home after her rent was increased beyond what she can afford. For Mariam, living with her parent is her only means of survival.
There's supposed to be a special...
Dr. Awal Abdullahi, Deputy National Coordinator for retired members of the Nigerian Armed Forces, sheds light on the broader struggles faced by retired soldiers and widows.
The attention of veterans in medical is very, very poor. We have educational challenge for our children. There's no special concession or consideration for our children if they go to either public or private schools like it is done in other parts of the world. Our wives are also being neglected. There's no special concession for them when it comes to issue of heroes, both those wives that are widows and the ones that their husbands are still alive.
While Armed Forces Remembrance Day is marked annually with ceremonies, many widows and retired soldiers are left grappling with economic challenges. They are calling on the government to introduce skill acquisition programs to empower them and provide sustainable support. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
As the nation remembers the sacrifices of her fallen heroes who paid the ultimate price during their service to the country, retired soldiers in Gombe State have been reminiscing on life after service. While some have hailed several initiatives geared towards bettering their living conditions, others say government has not done enough to address their welfare needs. Hassan has this report from.
These are the retired soldiers gathered at Valtami Stadium to mourn the death of their fallen comrades. Their appearance tells the current life they are living. Despite being grateful for being alive and attending these events, they have something pathetic to share.
We have problem we are facing when we retire, that is lack of giving us our benefit in times. Sometimes there is some areas they don't give us in times. Up to now we have only government, federal government, some monies. They don't give us. I will tell him that make him take care of retirees soldiers, especially we 63 NA. We are not enjoying his government.
They are not helping the widows because the husbands fought for this nation and now they died leaving the orphans and the widows alone. Now coming to recruitment, they didn't help the widows to recruit their children. We are appealing to the government to help the widows to recruit their children to emulate their father.
At the event, the Legion received numerous donations from the government. However, they are optimistic that the government will improve the welfare of families of fallen heroes.
Because of the problem of the children and the school fees, though the army have taken care of us, but in my own case, they only take 2 children. They are sponsoring them for school, scholarship, only 2 children for me, but it's not easy because I have 5 children. It's not easy. And now, we are pleading for the government and the Nigerian army. They should look upon us, the widows. We are suffering. It's not easy. Our children, they have finished their school, no job. We try for this Nigerian army for them to help us, but when our children went, they will drop our children. They will take some children.
The retired soldiers believe that improving their welfare will help boost the morale of serving soldiers, which will go a long way in addressing the current security threats across the country. From Gombe, Hassan Koli reporting for Trust TV.
As Nigeria pays tribute to our fallen heroes on the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, some retired military officers reflect on their life after service with gratitude and fulfillment. In Jos, the Plateau State capital, retired Air Force officer Musa Salihu stands as an example of a smooth transition in the civilian life. Ado Musa captured Musa Salihu's perspective.
Musa Salihu, still radiating the discipline and pride of his military days, returns from the 2025 Armed Forces Remembrance Day ceremony in full uniform. A retired warrant officer of the Nigerian Air Force, Salihu resides in the Ali Kazaure community of Josno local government area, where he has been warmly embraced by the residents.
Before we left the service, we have to go for 6 months training to coach you how to be with the community. You know, when you do barak, we are giving order always, but in the community it's not like that. Anything you are having, at least you must follow it the way the community will like you. Otherwise, you will receive some insult as an old soldier. That is the thing. But the life of community, in fact, is very, very simple. Very, very simple. It depends on the way you, the leader, be with the community. If you have your self-respect, the community will respect you.
Reflecting on his years of service, Salihu shares fond memories and emphasizes that, given the chance, he will gladly return to serve his nation.
During the time I'm serving, most of the responsibility on me by my superior. I will still remember that, because if you are loyal to the government, they use you anyhow, you cannot say no. So you work without rest. Like me, in fact, the time I was in academy, I was the 3 RSM of the academy, Nigerian Defense Academy. And I know the type of job. And that is why today I'm very happy, because most of the generals today, they came up through my training.
Beyond his personal reflections, the community members speak highly of Salihu's contribution to their welfare.
And unlike what other people were thinking, this kind of barrack life, this kind of military mentality, is just like a simple man. I can describe him. So simple, so humble, so helpful to the community. He uses the little he's earning from his pension to impact a lot of life to support to us living within this community. He has sunk towards 2 boreholes in this community. He has spent a lot of thousands of naira to fix our roads to be accessible to the entire community. And he lived peacefully. His relationship with the community has been so cordial.
We have enjoyed living with Alhaji Musa for many years. He is a kind-hearted man. As a retired military officer, he is always ready to help, no matter the time or circumstance. If you approach him for assistance, he will never hesitate. Even in the middle of the night, if someone needs to be rushed to the hospital, he willingly provides his vehicle. Salihu credits his success during and after service to the respect he maintained for his senior officers. He expresses joy at being part of this year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day, celebrating not just the sacrifices of the fallen hero, but the camaraderie that remains among living. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Governor Ahmadu Fintri of Adamawa State on Wednesday led dignitaries to lay wreaths at the tomb of the unknown soldier in honor of the nation's fallen heroes as part of the 2025 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebrations. Held at the Mahmoud Ribadu Square, the event brought together a diverse group of persons, including serving and retired soldiers and the widows of those who paid the supreme sacrifice to Nigeria. Gibson Soadigo has the report.
The annual ceremony commenced with the inspection of the Guard of Honor from the Nigerian Armed Forces. Thereafter, Governor Ahmadu Fintri led other dignitaries to lay wreaths in honor of Nigeria's fallen heroes as part of the 2025 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration. Special prayers, a minute of silence, a three-gun salute to honor the fallen heroes, and the release of pigeons by Governor Fintri were some of the highlights of the day. Addressing journalists shortly after the event, Governor Fintri urged Nigerians to remember and support the families of fallen heroes and also continually uplift the nation through prayer. Recognizing the prevailing security challenges, Governor Fintri called for a collective approach to addressing these issues, emphasizing that peace and unity are vital for sustainable development.
Yeah, these are people and gentlemen that have put their life on the line in order to see that we are one united country. And today, it is time for us to also give them back. Now that they are in need, they are in old age. A lot of them have health challenges. And I felt it is time that we should rally around them and give them all the support they need, especially those with physically and health challenges. And so I have decided to give them a package beginning from now, that any one of them that has these needs will be provided for free by the state.
The Armed Forces Remembrance Day is observed annually on January 15th, serving as a powerful reminder to honor members of the Nigerian Armed Forces who lost their lives in service, as well as those currently engaged in peacekeeping operations both home and abroad. Gibson Soadigo, Trust TV News, Yola.
The Armed Forces Remembrance Day is a time to honor the sacrifices of fallen heroes and veterans. Abdullahi Ahmed takes a look at the history behind the commemoration and its significance to national security and nation building. The report.
The Armed Forces Remembrance Day, every January 15th, stands as a powerful tribute to Nigeria's military personnel, past and present. It is a day aged in honor, celebrating those who have given their lives for the unity and peace of the nation. From the world wars to the Nigerian Civil War and every battle in between, this day salutes the valor of our heroes. Originally observed on November 11th, the Remembrance Day shifted to January 15th after the Civil War ended back in 1970. This date wasn't just a change on the calendar. It became a reminder of national unity, a testament to sacrifices made to hold Nigeria together. Across the nation, ceremonies bring this tribute to life. Wreaths are laid at cenotaphs, churches and mosques echo the prayers of the departed. Parades fill the streets, showcasing the strength and discipline of our armed forces. And in a symbolic gesture of hope, white pigeons soar into the sky, a promise of peace. Among our heroes, names like General Murtala Muhammad resonate, a leader and reformist. He stood tall during the Nigerian Civil War. Colonel Adekunle Fajuyi, who chose to die alongside General Agui Ironsi during the 1966 coup, exemplifies unyielding loyalty. Lieutenant Colonel Muhammad Abu Ali's courage in the fight against Boko Haram is a legacy etched in sacrifice. But the Remembrance Day isn't just about the past. It is a wake-up call to honor the living. The soldiers still on the front lines need our appreciation and, more importantly, our support. Better welfare, timely pay, and robust backing for the families aren't luxuries. They are a necessity. So let's do more than just remember them on this day. Let's advocate for their rights, participate in their honor, and educate ourselves on the sacrifices that they've made. Together, we can ensure that the legacy of Nigeria's heroes, fallen and standing, continues to inspire and protect the future of our nation.
Thank you, Abdullahi, for that in-depth report. In Gombe State, the Kantoma market in Billiri is poised for a revival as the government unveils plans to rebuild the market destroyed during the 2021 Billiri crisis. The announcement has brought renewed hope to traders who lost their means of livelihood in the aftermath of the crisis. However, alongside the excitement is a call for fairness in the reallocation of shops. Hassan Koli has the report.
Once a vibrant hub of commerce, the Kantoma market was reduced to rubble, leaving hundreds of traders stranded. The government's decision to rebuild has reignited optimism in the community.
As we went around with you, you see how my people were happy. They were jubilating because the market has become a real challenge in building local government. And also in terms of revenue, we are not getting it easy to take our revenue from the marketers because this is an open place. But when coming with the building of the fencing of the market, it can generate more revenue to the people of Gombe State, to the people of the local government, and also it will help our businessmen because when we went around, they were jubilating because they are selling the properties outside, which is not supposed to be so. So I'm very, very happy when you build this thing, it will increase the rate of marketing in the local government. Each market we used to get like 500,000, 550, 600. And I believe when we build all these shops, we can get 1 million by the grace of God.
The traders, while grateful for the reconstruction efforts, are emphasizing the need for a fair and transparent reallocation process. We are happy about the reconstruction, but we want the government to carefully identify and reallocate shops to those who were here before the crisis. I also urge my fellow traders to cooperate fully with the authorities. This market is our livelihood. We just want a transparent process so everyone gets their shop back, because there are rumors that some traders might lose their allocation after the project is completed. The Joint Project Development Agency is set to commence work soon with promises of modernized market to revitalize trade and commerce in the region. While excitement grows, the traders' concerns highlight the need for a rebuilding process rooted in transparency and inclusivity. From Gombe, Hassan Koli, reporting for Trust TV.
From Gombe to Bauchi, farmers in Bauchi State have been advised to always refer to information on weather forecast and pattern of rainfall as part of efforts to mitigate the impact of climate change on crop production in Nigeria. An agricultural expert gave the advice and amid lamentations from farmers over the impact of climate change on agriculture. Trust TV's Adamu Imam examines how farmers who depend on irrigation are coping with the climate change phenomenon in Bauchi State.
Although local farmers make a significant number in Nigeria, however, the challenge of climate change is blowing an air of uncertainty on many peasant farmers and their ability to sustain farming. With the output from their farms in 2024 relatively below expectations, they are hoping to get better yield this year. During farming activities, for instance, you will realize that the weather frequently changes from cold to hot and vice versa within a short time. This changing favors and helps some crops to grow, but there are other varieties that cannot withstand the mixture of the weather at that moment. So this puts a heavier burden on us to carry out the watering carefully. The wind pattern is affecting irrigation activities, especially when we are watering the farm. If the weather keeps on changing, the place usually dries up. So, by extension, we spend more money to fuel the water pump in order to water the area completely. This is not easy for us at all. Wheat farming, for instance, needs more water and fertilizer than any other crop here. But seriously, climate change is affecting the situation at the moment. Experts say early planning for the farming season is also a pathway for a better yield and bumper harvest that will help address food insecurity.
That most of the farmers, when they discover that the soil is not fertile enough again to give them what they wanted, and the cost of inorganic fertilizer is a little bit expensive, so most farmers cannot afford the quantity that they're supposed to put on 1 hectare, for example. So the next thing is to travel far and continue to cut trees. And as they cut trees, they produce charcoal, they produce firewood from it. And at the end of the day, we are deforesting the forest, and before you know it, it will become a desert place.
Any productions that has what uncertainties, the agriculture productions, may require what you call insurance cover. They have to register their farms to, with insurance company, insurance organizations, so that in any situation whereby we are not hoping for that, if there is case of flooding or any disasters, the insurance cover will cover your production's cost, so that the farmer will not go unlost. Than to say that there is no any insurance cover, there is no anything like that, and you are just investing your millions of naira. Technically, I can say advisedly, it's not in a good way. It's not right.
They also urge the government to come up with strategies that will help local farmers in the fight against climate change impact, as according to them, their activities can boost the nation's economic sustainability growth. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
This is News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, recycling sacks from storing grains to essential cleaning tools in northern Nigeria. We have more news when we return. Don't go away. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is News Hour on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories again. Armed Forces Remembrance Day commemorations receive mixed reactions from Nigerians. And Bellere Market reopens with facelift. 4 years after destruction, traders express excitement. Moving to other stories, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has raised concerns that the federal government is withdrawing funding the education sector through the Nigeria Tax Reforms Bills 2024 that is right now pending before the National Assembly. The coordinator, ASU Kano Zone, Professor Abdelkader Mohammed, told a press conference in Kano that the move to kill the Tertiary Education Fund, TET Fund, through the tax reforms bills would be destructive to the survival of the public tertiary institutions in Nigeria. Professor Mohammed said TET Fund is ASU's brainchild, sometimes in 1992 when the union accepted the challenge thrown at it by the Babangida military regime to propose sustainable means of funding Nigeria's public education, adding that ASU's recommendations culminated in the creation of Education Tax Fund, ETF, but later metamorphosed into TED Fund in 2011. The union drew the attention of the state governors to the fact that the tax reform bills should not be about VAT sharing alone, as TED Fund has been supporting states-owned universities with fiscal infrastructure, leaving the state governments to be paying only salaries.
We have seen the trend where universities have started, public universities at federal and state levels, have started increasing registration fees, which are mainly service charges. But if you remove TED Fund and scrap it with NEL Fund, you are now telling the universities to go and look for money to build laboratories, to build classes, to build hostels and what have you. The government is trying to systematically withdraw from funding of these universities, to tell the universities to go and take care of themselves, and the final implication will be fee increment. And once you push the student to go at the universities to go and look for money, the easiest way for these universities to look for money is to introduce tuition. And that is when this student will now be pushed to go and collect money from NEL Fund and what have you as a loan.
Sack bags play a vital role in our daily lives, with the primary use being for storing farm produce, especially grains. However, their use extends beyond storage, as these durable bags are also repurposed into effective cleaning tools, commonly known as isgan-buhu, in the northern regions of Nigeria. The report.
These vibrant creations you see here are dusters locally crafted from discarded sack bags, known as isgambuhu. They are a testament to the ingenuity of northern artisans. Sack bags manufactured from polypropylene and high-density polyethylene resin have become ubiquitous in Nigeria due to the increasing reliance on plastic for packaging. Industries across the country utilize these bags for storing and transporting various goods, including beans, groundnuts, and gari. However, recognizing their potential beyond their primary purpose, many resourceful individuals in the northern regions have transformed these discarded bags into functional and aesthetically pleasing dusters. These handcrafted isgambuhu are particularly popular among market traders who use them to effectively clean and dust their merchandise. To understand the significance of isgambuhu, we spoke with residents in Lagos who shared insights into their origins, uses, and even their export to neighboring countries.
So this thing I've been used is handmade duster. It has been used with bags, just say like sacks and rubber with that's nail. So it will stay long, like let's say 1 year.
This one you go produce from sack. This one. So now say this one a natural business, local business. Let's say sometimes if you come from north, so you no get ordinary money, so you go buy sack from company, you go come out one by one, you go do one with a business. Sometimes people you go buy this one, you go use them come out the tea.
This thing coming from Kano, so that's what we do, small. Some people they will come and buy them. They come and buy them for us. So they carry and go Ghana. So they carry and go Maiduguri. So they carry and go whatever Niger, whatever they carry and go. So this thing we are selling. We are not selling it. Some we they sell. We they sold some 1,000 naira, 500 naira, 2,000 naira, 3,000 naira. That's what we sell. That's what we sell. We are selling it.
It's our local handmade duster. It has been made with you can see with sacks and rubber to tie it, and some small woods to hold it with nail have been nailed. So it has been, we are using it to clean our duster, most especially during dry season.
Isgambuhu, the locally made duster from northern Nigeria, proves to be an effective and eco-friendly cleaning solution. These handcrafted dusters are not only utilized in homes for cleaning furniture and other surfaces, but also find application in the transportation sector, where they are used to ensure passengers' comfort by keeping vehicle seats clean.
Now to security matters. The Joint Task Force of the military in the Northeast region, known as Operation Hatinkai, has banned the use of unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, popularly known as drones in the region. The Air Component Commander, Air Commodore UU Idris, who gave the directive in a signal, said the use of drones without permission poses threats in Borno, Yobe and Adamawa states. He expressed concern that government agencies and private individuals operate the drones without consent of the air component of the Operation Hatinkai. The statement warned that the proliferation of drones for domestic and commercial purposes has led to serious security concerns, as they can be used by non-state actors and criminal elements for subversive and offensive activities. The reintroduction of history in the curriculum of secondary schools in Nigeria has sparked excitement among teachers and students in Delta State. This move follows the federal government's recent directive to include history as a standalone subject in the basic education curriculum. According to them, the introduction of the history will give students a sense of self-identity and understanding of their cultural heritage. Jonathan Anwaya completes the story.
Teachers who spoke with Trust TV are enthusiastic about the prospect of teaching history again, citing its relevance in shaping young minds and fostering national pride. According to them, history is essential in helping the learners know who they are, where they come from, and where they are going.
I like what the president did by introducing history or historical studies in school so that the children will learn the past and know how to behave and how to talk about the future. So let them continue. They should not, nobody should remove history in the learning curriculum of Nigerian secondary schools, because it was very, very of paramount importance. So I like what the president did, and they should continue to learn and write more books on Nigerian history. Because when you read history of a country, you know whether we are progressing or not. And I believe we are progressing, because a lot of things that has happened in the past cannot happen in the future again.
Well, the introduction of history in secondary school that they brought back recently is very, very nice, because so many students, not just students, they are lacking behind. Because if you have history of what is happening, history is not like information. If you are not informed, you will be deformed. But if you are informed, whatever that is before you, you know how to handle it. And not just that, the history they brought back will help these students to gather whatever they are doing. It will even help them in other subjects, not the history alone.
Students are also eager to learn about their country's rich history, cultural diversity, and the struggles of their forefathers.
Studying history will help us as a student to understand and appreciate our cultural heritage. It will give us an opportunity to have an insight into events, politics, and social issues. It is a welcome development.
It will help us to understand our culture, our different cultures, and our society and history contents.
The reintroduction of history is expected to have a positive impact on the education sector in Delta State by promoting critical thinking, analytical skills, and a deeper understanding of Nigeria's past, present, and future. Jonathan Anwaya, Trust TV News, Asaba.
The Kaduna State government says it has earmarked about 50 billion naira to execute various water-related projects across the state in the year 2025. Managing Director of the State Water Board, Tukur Tingilan, disclosed these in Katsina on Tuesday while inaugurating grievance redress committees of the state government. The report.
The managing director also said in 2025, the government would initiate various projects that would benefit the people, particularly in the provision of potable water across the state. According to Tengilin, the government has committed 8.4 billion naira in 2024 as part of a 20 billion naira World Bank supported project to overhaul, upgrade and rehabilitate water facilities in 20 communities across 5 local government areas in the state. Tenglin further explained that the aim of the project under World Bank NG Sawosh was to improve water supply and infrastructure in the state.
The current exercise that is taking place, His Excellency is spending 20 billion, as we earlier mentioned, while for the 2025 budget, His Excellency is budgeting over 50 billion naira to ensure the sustainability and provision of clean water within the 20 local governments in Kano State.
According to him, the project would also involve the replacement of obsolete pipes, installation of new water systems, and general facility upgrades. Tinglin mentioned that extensive consultations with stakeholders in affected communities were conducted to ensure the success of the initiative.
Some communities, about 20 in Kaduna, have been covered, and more communities are yet to be touched. The remaining are going to be touched within the 2025 budget. And when you move to other local governments, again, that have not been touched at all, they're going to come on board and fresh projects are going to be implemented on that within such communities.
He said the grievance redress committees were inaugurated for Kazana, Batagarawa, Daura, Funtua, Duzima, and Malumfashi local governments to ensure intervention whenever the need arises between the communities and contractors executing the projects.
He's occupying that area legally. Maybe this project is coming now, and that person place must be touched for the water to get to where it is expected.
In his remarks, the district head of Malumfashi, Justice Sadiq Abdullahi Mahuta, lauded the initiative and assured that the traditional institution will support the projects to succeed.
In business, the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, says unit-high sales have driven Nigeria's inflation to 34.8%. The NBS made this known in its latest CPI report, which measures the rate of change in prices of goods and services. Bolstered by demands synonymous with the festive season, Nigeria's headline inflation rate jumped to 34.80% in December 2024, from 34.60% in November 2024. The December 2024 headline inflation rate showed a marginal increase of 0.20% compared to the November 2024 headline inflation rate. On a year-on-year basis, the headline inflation rate is 5.87% higher than the rate recorded in December 2023, which was 28.92%. Meanwhile, food inflation rate in December 2024 stood at 39.84% on a year-on-year basis, 5.90%. Let me take that again. Meanwhile, food inflation rate in December 2024 stood at 39.84% on a year-on-year basis, while 5.91% higher compared to the rate recorded in December 2023, which stood at 33.93%. For more on business and the stock market, here is Yusuf Akogu with details.
Welcome to Stock Market Update. I am Yusuf Akogu. Bearish sentiment persisted on the stock market on Wednesday as investors incurred more losses. Leading the losers today is Dangote Cement Nigeria PLC, down 10% to close at 387 naira and 90 kobo per share. Of course, Universal Insurance PLC also down today, 10% to close at 63 kobo per share there as well. John Hurt, one of the oldest company quoted on NGS, down 9.99% to close at 8 naira and 47 kobo per share. This has dragged down the index downward by 1.47%, a very huge loss, you say, for the market today. Volume of trade 431.29 million shares, value at 9.26 billion naira in a list of 11,908 lead exchanges among investors. The top trading equities by volume. Leading in table there is Universal Insurance PLC, did 70 million volume of shares today. ICO, another insurance company, also did 39.7 million shares. Of course, Access Corporation, a meager 16.8 million of its shares were traded today. Looking at the top gainers from today's trading, we have NASCON. NASCON gained 10% to close at 38 naira and 50 kobo per share. Dangote Sugar also gained 10% to close at 36 naira and 85 kobo per share. Suno Assurance 10% it gained to close at 6 naira and 71 kobo per share there. And that's the highlight of Nigerian stock market for today. Let's see the global stock market and exchange rate data. And that's stock market update. I am Yusuf Akogu.
On the foreign scene, Israel and Hamas have reached a ceasefire agreement, temporarily halting a devastating 15-month conflict in Gaza that has claimed tens of thousands of lives and caused widespread destruction. Mediators in Qatar announced the deal, marking a significant step towards de-escalation after months of intense negotiations. The conflict, one of the deadliest and most prolonged confrontations between the two sides, has also triggered unrest across the broader Middle East. The agreement includes a phased plan for the release of hostages held by Hamas since their attack on Israel on October 7, 2023. In return, Israel will release hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. The deal also allows for the return of displaced Gazans to their homes, though most of those homes have been destroyed. But the ceasefire also opens the way for humanitarian aid to flow into the heavily battered territory. This provision aims to address urgent needs such as food, medical supplies, and shelter for millions affected by the fighting. Qatari officials, who played a key role in brokering the agreement, confirmed the details alongside Hamas representatives. However, Israel officials have yet to publicly comment on the deal. Final approval now rests with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's cabinet, which is expected to deliberate on the terms in the coming days. The ceasefire comes after weeks of painstaking negotiations and international pressure to end the bloodshed. Observers are cautiously optimistic that the truce could pave the way for broader discussions on long-term peace. However, concerns remain about the potential for violations given the deep mistrust between the two sides and the unresolved issues that have fueled the conflict. The African Union, AU, has called the restoration of full ties between the two countries an important milestone. The 54-nation bloc, which is headquartered in Ethiopia's capital, walked a tightrope throughout the dispute, carefully not to criticize its host while also facing Somali pressure to intervene. The revival of ties followed Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud's trip to Addis Ababa over the weekend. Last December, following Turkey's mediation, the two leaders pledged to resolve the dispute and to negotiate a potential deal granting landlocked Ethiopia access to the sea. The development means Ethiopian troops will stay in Somalia as part of an African Union peacekeeping mission. Somalia had initially threatened to replace them with Egyptian soldiers. suspected outbreak of the Marburg virus in northwest Tanzania has infected 9 people, killing 8, according to the World Health Organization, WHO. This comes just weeks after neighboring Rwanda declared its own outbreak of the deadly virus officially over. The Marburg virus, a highly contagious hemorrhagic fever with a fatality rate of up to 88%, is closely related to Ebola. Both viruses are endemic to East Africa and are believed to be transmitted to humans through fruit bats. The recent Tanzanian outbreak has been reported in the Kagera region, which shares a border with Rwanda. The WHO confirmed it received reports of the suspected cases on January the 10th. And in sports, the Super Eagles Team B have been drawn in Group D of the 2024 African Nations Championship, CHAN, in August 2025. Nigeria, Senegal, Congo, Brazzaville, and Sudan will lock horns at the football event to be co-hosted by Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. Let's join Adeni Ajesafe for more on sports news.
Nasarawa United Football Club on Wednesday unveiled 8 high-profile players ahead of the second stanza of 2024-2025 Nigerian Professional Football League season. The newly signed players are central defender Benson Abbey from Shooting Stars, left-back Peace Dewa, formerly of Sunshine Stars of Akure, and attacking midfielder Abubakar Aliyu from Shooting Stars. Others are central midfielder Solomon Chigozie from Kwara United, winger Peter Energy, who rejoined from Baswatin FC of Bahrain, centre forward Ugochukwu Leonard from Hadlad FC of Owerri, as winger Benjamin Jack joined from Golden Boot FC of Benin Republic, alongside Oyema Emmanuel, a winger from Ikorodu City of Lagos. Club chairman Solomon Babanja addressed journalists in Lafia, acknowledging the poor performance of the club and apologized to the state government, the citizens, and the supporters of the club.
On behalf of the management, I'm apologizing for the poor performance of the team. And I'm assuring you, with the coming of these new players, things will turn around for Nasarawa United. Sure. As you can see, we have top players who played in top clubs in Nigeria. Some of them even played in Europe.
The technical director, Kabiru Dogo, buttressed more.
It's a normal thing in life, at least in football team. Whereby some players we left, we drop some players and we get some. Even the best team in the world, we always beef up in the misses. That's when you can correct whatever mistakes you have in the first round. So, like Nasarawa United too, this morning we are unveiling some players.
On ground, at the unveiling, Chairman, Nasarawa Football Association, Usman Salisu, with his point.
Before the commencement of the 2024-2025 MPFL, the recruitment was very, very poor. That is why it's affecting the performance of the team in the league. But with the window that is open for all the 20 teams that are participating at the MPFL should reinforce their teams. That is why Nasarawa United invites 8 good players that has experience, that know the league very well.
The Solid Miners hope to unveil more players before embarking on a close campaign activities. 10 players were drawn from the team, while 4 others left voluntarily. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajisafe.
With that, we come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. Don't forget to follow us across all our media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. Thank you for watching. I'm Muhammad Kuda Abubakar. Good night.